Guided meditation. Nowadays, one keeps coming across YouTube videos on guided meditation. Sitting face to face with the live guru and going through a session of guided meditation has become a thing of the past. It is time for running a meditation app on your mobile phone, totally in the comfort of your cozy home. Of course, nothing comes free. Instead of paying a hefty fee to a guru, you end up paying subscription fee to the app maker. Am I also talking about one such guided meditation? In the previous episode, I was suggesting that meditation can be one of the ways that could potentially lead one to self-realization and liberation from all confusion. But what exactly is this meditation? One well-known guru of yesteryears, namely Swami Dayananda Saraswati, comes up with a novel definition of the process of meditation. He defines meditation as Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyaparaha. This Advaiti Guru goes on at great length to explain each and every word of this definition and also clarifies what is not meditation. I don't know whether this definition is his own creation or is he quoting from some known scripture. He never clarifies that. But let us see what he says. To paraphrase the definition in simple English, it means mental activity, that is manasa vyaparaha, pertaining to Vishaya, personified God, Saguna Brahma. That is, mental activity pertaining to personified God. Being a Shankara follower, this Swami differentiates between an abstract God, that is Nirguna Brahma, and a personified God, Saguna Brahma. Advaitis of Shankara lineage insist on God being abstract and indescribable and without any attributes, Nirguna Nirvishishta. To some extent, they are right in the sense that is how the God is talked about in the Upanishads. But defining this God as some indescribable concept makes it too abstract and useless. Further, the Upanishadic God being without any human-like emotions, human-like visible features, etc., makes it too dry and of little practical utility. You can't worship such a God. You can't even pray and expect solution to your problems. What use is such a God, however great he is? So, Advaitis very reluctantly come up with the concept of a personified God, Saguna Brahma. This God has human-like qualities, human-like physical form. This God can interact with you, listen to your prayers, bestow whatever you ask for, protect you, and so on. And then these Advaitis equate this personified God to abstract God. They go back to their concept of gradation in reality. They say that abstract God is the ultimate reality, Paramarthika Satya, and personified God is the practical reality, Vyavaharika Satya. This Swami's definition of meditation is about this personified God or Saguna Brahma. Rest of the definition is not very difficult to understand. It is just about continuously directing the thoughts towards this personified God. This definition brings up a lot of questions. Does worshipping God amount to meditation? No, says the Swami, since worship involves physical activity in addition to mental activity. Does chanting the praise of God or singing religious songs qualify as meditation? No, for the same reason. They are not purely mental activities. There are other questions that arise because of this definition. Who qualifies as a personified God? The Swami, being a Hindu, may say any Hindu god, Rama, Krishna, Vishnu, Shiva, Kali, Durga, etc., can be a personified god depending on your liking. What about non-Hindu gods like Jesus, Allah, Jehovah? Are they Saguna Brahma too? Even among Hindus, there are people who consider Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or some such guru as God. Can all such gods be targets of meditation? I don't know what answer this Swami has. If you think deeply, what this Saguna Brahma really means is some form taken by God and not God itself. Otherwise, this very word becomes an oxymoron. If it is really a form taken by God, then this Saguna Brahma can be anyone: Rama, Krishna, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Jesus, Allah, Jehovah, and so on. So, you can meditate on any form, not necessarily on a Hindu god. I'm not sure whether this Swami agrees. In my view, he should, since being an Advaiti, he considers everything to be God. Let us say that the Swami has no objection to that. Can we meditate by focusing our thoughts on any form of our liking? We should be able to, as per the definition given by the Swami. Do all such meditations lead us to the very same ultimate reality, irrespective of the form? My guess is no. Why? Even though Advaitis like Shankara connect all forms to God with an identity relation, that leads to several contradictions, as I have explained in previous episodes. A form is no doubt a form taken by God, but it is not identical to it. It does not have all the capabilities of God, nor is it omniscient. In other words, it is limited to the form in which it exists. It becomes truly God only when it drops that form. Does it mean that meditating on some form is useless? No, it does not mean that. What it means is that the form can take you only up to what it can go and not beyond. It can't take you beyond its limits. If the form that you have chosen is far above your limited existence, then definitely that form can take you much higher than what you currently are. This I call as guided meditation. The form of God that you have chosen as the target can guide you to greater heights, though it can take you only up to its own limits and not give you ultimate realization. I don't know whether the Swami agrees with me. I take this stand to clear off any hint of Hindu bias in this definition of Swami. So, everyone, irrespective of their religious affiliation, can resort to this meditation and still hope to come out of some of the limitations imposed by the form which they are in. But what is important is to choose the right form or your version of Saguna Brahma to meditate on. The main meditation approach propounded by Patanjali or the Upanishads is not this meditation as defined by Swami. I will talk about that later. Probably something close to this is the Ishvara Pranidhana suggested by Patanjali. In Ishvara Pranidhana, Patanjali talks about chanting the sound Om. He says Om is the sound denoting Ishvara. This Ishvara is a great soul, Purusha Visheshaha, who is omniscient. He defines this Ishvara as Klesha Karma Vipaka Ashaya Aparamrishtaha Purusha Visheshaha Ishvara Tatra Niratishayam Sarvajna Bijam Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha. That means Ishvara is a special soul that is ever free from delusion and effects of action. He is omniscient. He is denoted by the sound Om. Yoga Sutra 1.24, 1.25 and 1.27. When one meditates on such an Ishvara, Ishvara lifts the shroud of ignorance that envelops the meditator, and the meditator would attain self realization. That too is guided meditation, guided by a form of God, namely Ishvara. This Ishvara Pranidhana of Patanjali was probably influenced by the meditation talked about by the Upanishads. Otherwise, Patanjali, who rarely talks about God and works mostly within the framework set by the Sankhya who relegates God as irrelevant, would not have brought in Ishvara, whose definition is very close to the Brahma talked about by the Upanishads. Let us see some of the so called meditation techniques that don't meet the definition given by this Swami in the next episode.